Welcome to the OwlDolly Beholder DS1 Comprehensive Setup. Now, you know who makes a great travel companion? The Beholder DS1 with its new support. And the Beholder DS1 can be quickly set up with ease. And don't forget, if you want the best in camera stabilization, don't forget to get the best in product support for your Beholder DS1 or MS1 from OwlDolly. Let's talk about the Beholder DS1, which is a 32-bit stabilizer with two IMU sensors located underneath the camera here and in the frame back here. Now, speaking of DS1 parts, let's go over them starting with the bottom, with the battery cap. The battery cap has a 3/8 mount, perfect for tripods or attaching to a boom pole for an awesome jib shot. And on the bottom of the battery cap is your serial number with the Beholder logo. Moving on is the battery holder. The battery holder contains 3 LiPo batteries. They're called 18650s and they produce in total 11.1 volts of electricity. While under load, the Beholder DS1 will register around 9 to 10 volts. As you can see, the batteries are easily removed and once again quickly installed. Batteries will last up to 3 hours on one charge. And located right here is the micro USB port for charging. With the included power supply, the batteries can be charged in 5 hours. We highly recommend purchasing a dedicated charger for the best battery life and the quickest charging times of 3 hours with the Beholder MC1 charger at 1000 milliamps. Now, once the battery holder is back in the handle, we can screw on the battery cap and get this thing turned on. Check out that ergonomic handle, by the way. The power button is located there, and there's a 5-way joystick for control of direction and mode selection. On the back of the stabilizer is a micro USB port for the Beholder remote, and further on the back of the stabilizer is a full-size USB port. And don't forget to leave the stabilizer off when connecting external connections. And when the remote joystick is connected, the built-in joystick and the handle will not function. We'd like to direct your attention towards the yaw hard stop, and now we're going to turn off the stabilizer and loosen up the yaw locks. The yaw arm will slide in and out. Now, moving up from the yaw arm is the roll arm, which is connected to the roll motor. And just below that is the frame sensor. Now we're going to loosen up the roll locks here and show you what happens when the roll arm is extended too far out and causes too much drag on the gimbal. Now, pushing the roll arm all the way in will cause less drag, causing the gimbal to rise. Let's lock it back in and move on. From the roll arm, we hit the tilt stage. The tilt stage can be raised and lowered to find the camera's center of mass, just like on the other axis. On the face of the tilt stage is the board reset button, along with a micro USB port for connecting to the board, quick release plate with adapter plate, and quick release lock. Now, the last thing we'd like to mention about Beholder parts is the hard stops here. They do an important job of protecting the wires from twisting more than 360 degrees. So if you lose them or they get loose, please contact your local dealer for a replacement. Now let's move on to balancing. First, for the BMPCC, you want to use the quick release plate with the adapter. Now, with light cameras, you want to mount them further away from the tilt motor. The reason for this is their center of gravity needs to be just a lot further over. And with heavier cameras, you want to have them close to the tilt motor. Let's attach the camera and move on to find the tilt center of gravity. For the BMPCC, you just need to push it a little back and a little forward till you find that little sweet spot. And don't forget, the camera can slide right out the back. For this camera setup, the tilt stage needs to be adjusted all the way up. Let's move on to the roll arm. The roll arm, we're going to adjust it all the way out to show you what happens when there's too much drag, and then we're going to push it all the way in to show you when it has too little drag. As long as there's not too much drag on one of the axes, you should be just fine. Goal of balancing any axis is to find the neutral zone, basically where you can position the gimbal at any angle and it will neither rise nor fall. But with some setups such as this, it is not possible to find that center of gravity. What you can do in this situation is balance the stabilizer to the best of your ability and let the software take care of the rest. We're going to tilt the stabilizer on its side here to test the yaw balance. Here we are adjusting the yaw arm all the way out to demonstrate when the yaw is too far out. For the BMPCC setup we have right now, we want to adjust the yaw arm all the way in, even though that still doesn't quite hit the center of mass for this camera setup. But due to the newest firmware in the DS1, no need to worry about that balance. We're going to turn on the stabilizer here and put it into Profile 3 by hitting that board button 3 times. And why do we hit it 3 times? Is because we want to run the stabilizer in the light camera profile. And let's move on to the BeastGrip with the iPhone 6. For this setup, we're just going to use a quick release plate. We're going to adjust it a little bit forward and a little bit back. Now the roll arm's just a little bit out, so we're going to quickly grab that and move on towards the tilt stage because the center of gravity is just a little bit too far off. For this setup, just like the BMPCC, we don't want the yaw arm out at all. We want it all the way in. And one more time, like the BMPCC, we want to use Profile 3 by pressing that board reset button 3 times. We're going to move on to the A7S II with a 16-35 Zeiss lens. Now with this setup, we want to have it as close as possible to the tilt motor. We're going to adjust this camera forward and backwards to find that center of gravity. And remember, if you got it perfectly balanced, the camera will neither rise nor fall. But don't worry, if you get about 80% there, the software can do the rest. With this lens, it's a bit hard to find the center of gravity on the roll axis. But you know what? The software, once again, can do the rest. For this yaw balance, you want it about 2/3 out. Just to show you how easy it is to change lenses with the DS1, we're now going to swap to a Canon FD with a lens adapter. When changing lenses on the DS1, as long as you're not changing too much, you only need to make minor adjustments. And here we are with an Aputure DEC and a Canon lens. Let's see what we can do with a quick release plate and an adapter plate. Let's talk about mode selection. The default mode of the stabilizer is follow mode, which means it'll follow the movement of your hand. By pressing on the joystick, you'll enter lock mode, which means it'll hold a fixed point, and the only way to adjust its position is by using the joystick. And the next mode after that is headlock mode. By pressing on the joystick for 2 seconds and then releasing, you'll enter headlock mode, which means the tilt is locked and the yaw will still follow. And we're going to quickly talk about some Beholder accessories here, like the Beholder remote. Now when connecting to Beholder remote, make sure the stabilizer is turned off and then plug it in and turn it on. And then when the Beholder remote is connected, it'll mirror the functions exactly of the built-in joystick from movement to mode selection. Another great Beholder accessory is the Beholder support with quick release plate. This is like a utility belt for your Beholder DS1 or MS1, offering places to mount LED lights, external recorders, or a monitor. Another great advantage of the Beholder support is if you have a heavier camera setup, now you have 2 to 3 handles to grip for added support. Let's talk about some basic filming tips. When walking with the DS1, to get rid of some vibrations and some movement from your body, hold the stabilizer inverted. It's a great way to deal with elevation change and the shock from your footsteps. And don't forget, take small to little steps to avoid the height and fall of your walking gait. just a quick troubleshooting tip here. If your stabilizer is not holding horizon, press the board reset button twice. But before you do so, make sure the stabilizer is on a flat and level surface that's vibration free. Wait for the motors to turn back on before picking up your stabilizer and resuming filming. Well, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you have further questions, please direct them to sales@OwlDolly.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you.